Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Edric Show. I am your host, Edric Jerome. This is the place for intelligent conversation with interesting people. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and you'll get notified when I post content each and every week. Very special guest today. I want to welcome back to the Edric Show, Margo Hall. Margo is an award-winning actor, director, and she's artistic director of the Lorraine Hansberry Theatre in San Francisco. She's here to talk about the San Francisco premiere of The Black Feminist Guide to the Human Body, a spiritual new work written by nationally acclaimed playwright and San Francisco native Lisa B. Thompson. Margo is directing the piece, which will debut at the Fort Mason Center for the Arts at the Magic Theater in San Francisco on September 19th and run through October 6th. Margo, welcome back to the Edric Show.
Hello, Edric. It's so nice to be back. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime. Open invitation, please, 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 please. Um, let's start out with the piece. Tell me about the new play, the Black Feminist Guide to the Human Body, and also how this play fits into the overall artistic vision of the Lorraine Hansberry Theater.
Yes, yes. So, the Black Feminist Guide to the Human Body is an exploration of a spiritual journey by Lisa B. Thompson, who is essentially the character B, B-E-A. And in the production, B is a professor at an institution in Texas and University of Texas, basically, where Lisa B. Thompson is a professor of African Studies. And it just talks about B's journey to create a guide and put in this guide things that Black women don't often talk about. I also want to point out that it is called the Black Feminist Guide to the Human Body because the feminist movement, for the most part, was a white woman's movement. And the importance of this being called a Black Feminist Guide is that we're not only talking about the journey of Black women as they age, but we're talking about Black feminists who are often left out of a lot of literature and information regarding the feminist movement. Now, there were several organizations that were Black feminist organizations that you don't often hear about. And as a Black feminist, I studied a lot of those organizations because I always wondered how can you have a movement uh, about females and not have Black females included? And so there were things in the Black feminist movement that we wanted that were different than the white feminist movement. And so I just think it's important that the title uh, is saying that this is a Black feminist guide. And throughout this piece, you will meet three actors who take a journey to develop this guide. And at the end of the play, it is opened up to the audience to ask other Black women, what can you put into this guide? There are a lot of things that, depending on how you grew up, where you grew up, that are not discussed. And so in our rehearsals, it has been so healing and amazing to sit around the room with these Black women of different ages and talk about all the little taboo things that you don't often get to talk about. And it's been so healing for us to share a space that we feel totally comfortable in, a space where we know whatever's said in the room stays in the room. And it has just deepened the experience of this process. And I am so excited for the audience to see these amazing three Black women go on this journey and develop this guide that Lisa B. Thompson hopes to one day develop into an entire book. So all of the pieces that come from the audience, as well as everything that we've discovered in our process, will go into this guide.
Can you tell my audience about the talented Lisa B. Thompson, why she's such an important cultural voice, and why she's such a source for inspiration?
Yes. Lisa B. Thompson is not only a playwright, and as I mentioned, a tenured professor at the University of Texas. And she has inspired so many other Black female writers to continue their journey as someone who promotes Black female stories. Um, what I find awesome about Lisa is that in her work in university, she talks a lot about the Black journey in academia. And I think that for Lisa, her work being in African American studies infuses her plays, and she's a novelist. So her ability with writing goes beyond just writing a play. She writes essays. Like I said, she has books that have been published. And all of that inspires her students, especially the Black female students. Being in a position in academia where students can recognize that there's someone like them sitting at the helm is so important. I'm a professor at UC Berkeley, and it's just really exciting when I get students of color in my class because they don't often see professors like us. And then there are the struggles of being a Black professor in white institutions. I think that Lisa's resilience as a 10-year professor in a white institution offers her fodder for her books in a way that it deepens an experience because of her survival in these institutions.
One of your many talents, you are directing this piece. And so as a director, when you have a play like this, in addition to the words, because the words on the page are so powerful, but what are some of the visual aspects that you want to highlight? Because that's so important in matching the words with the visual look of the piece.
Yes, very important. We have also my production team is predominantly Black females. And we will have projections in the piece that enhance, and the projections will not only be photographs, but they will also be videos so that we can create moods and show movement, not only in the dance that's in the piece, but also movement in the visual that you will see. Our set designer is Brittany, and Brittany is bringing an element to the set that I think will be surprising. I don't want to give too much
Sure,
away,
of course.
but let's just say that there are a lot of images that you'll see that are not only projected on a projection screen, but in other aspects of the set. Tajana is our projectionist. I just wanted to say her name. And then we have the wonderful Alex, who is also a female designer who's designing the sound. And she's doing some really great things with not only, songs that you're used to hearing, but also with sound effects. Um, Sometimes if you're not familiar with sound design, it is an actual design where you have to enhance the words that are being said or the movement that is being done. We also have Kendra, Barnes, who is the movement, and the dancing is incredible. I mean, these actors are working, and so this experience is going to bring you back to times when there was Soul Train and just all of these little references that as a Black woman or as a Black person, as a Black man, it's just going to open your heart and give you space to kind of have a nostalgia that represents your culture.
You mentioned the actors in the piece. So, who are some of the actors that we'll see, and what can we expect from their performances?
Oh, wow. Yes. We have Jacinta Kumbulu, who is playing B. We have Paige Mays, who is playing Cece. And we have Phaedra Hillary Boughton, who is playing D. And they are really amazing. I mean, we did like a run through yesterday, and they made me cry, they made me laugh. And their commitment to this process. It's not often we get a space like this. And being the first female artistic director of the Lorraine Hansberry Theatre, my mission was to create a safe space for Black female and femme identified artists and femmes. And um, when I say creating a safe space, you hear that thrown around. Yes, we're creating a safe space, but I'm talking about a space where they can be real, where they aren't judged, a space where we are really coming together and taking care of each other and understanding and talking about what we have in common as Black women and how there's still a little Black girl in there that needs to be loved and taken care of and listened to. You hear a lot about Black women are not listened to. And so I'm creating a space where you're listened to. There's patience in the room. There's an opportunity in that room to be yourself. And I committed to that when I took on the helm of Lorraine Hansberry Theatre. And from 2020, when I started up until now, all of the plays that I have produced have been written by Black females, and all of the lead characters in the plays are Black females. Um, Not to say that won't change eventually, but I felt like I wanted to really donate a good amount of time to having those voices be heard. And so for my actors, they're all talented movers, dancers, singers. They have come from different places. Phaedra is a musical theater performer. Jacinta is returning to acting after taking a break. And Paige Mays is a beautiful singer, dancer, and actress and I've worked with Paige before. I just directed a piece that Phaedra wrote and a reading, and we're going to explore expanding that piece at Lorraine Hansberry Theatre. And Jacinta came to me when she was ready to return to acting and said, "Will you be my personal coach?" And so I've been working with Jacinta for over a year now. And so it's just really exciting to bring all of them together in this space. And they just work so well together. And I'm just super excited that they get to showcase not only their talent, but their deep love for this piece.
My wife and I, over the last year, year and a half or so, we've had the opportunity to see several outstanding stage plays at the Fort Mason Center for Arts and Culture at the Magic Theater, including in the Evening by the Moonlight, which was phenomenal. I hope there's more to come from that piece because that was an amazing, amazing original piece. Um, can you speak to the importance of having dedicated artistic spaces like that? And not only that, but why it's so important to support these spaces?
Yes, culturally specific spaces give people an opportunity to see themselves on stage. Um, I have always worked in spaces that I have attempted to always work in spaces that show my people themselves on stage. And I have seen and felt what it's like for a Black audience to see their grandmothers, see their fathers, see their cousins, their sisters, see their neighbors on stage and hear their stories. It's important to support these cultural institutions because, unfortunately, they don't always get the funding that a lot of the predominantly white institutions do. And some of it is resources. Not all of the smaller cultural institutions have a marketing department or they have resources to be able to have advertisement in BART or advertisement in spaces that a lot of people get to see. And so some of the work, and it doesn't mean that the work on stage is community work. When we speak of being a community theater, we're talking about doing work for our community. We're talking about having relationships with folks and organizations in the community. The work on stage is phenomenal. It's professional, and it rivals any other theater company. But the use of community means that we are paying particular attention when we do outreach to say, who is this story for? And making sure we get those folks into the theater. Um, you have to understand also, just based on cultural preferences, a lot of folks go to the movies or they'll go see a concert, which is wonderful, but sometimes they're not familiar with theater. And so having an opportunity and resources to get those people in. Now, once we get them in, they're there to stay because they love it, because they see themselves on stage. And there's a lot going on politically right now, and some of that is taking our history out of schools, being afraid to showcase our talents, being afraid to talk about our Black girl magic, Black man magic, however you want to put it. And so it's important to support cultural institutions because they have to continue to tell those stories because otherwise your son or daughter could go to school and not learn their history or learn a whitewash version of their history. That's why at LHT, we do plays like In the Evening by the Moonlight, which talks about James Baldwin, Nina Simone, and Lorraine Hansberry. We do the musical Haley, which talks about Mahalia Jackson. We're doing this story right now that is talking about Black females and their journey of aging. We do stories that showcase our not only our history, but hopefully what we will be in the future. And that's why I ask that everyone understand. You don't have to be Black to support culturally specific institutions because they're going to take away that history from your child as well, no matter what race you are. And a child that is exposed to all cultures is a whole child. That is a child that understands and appreciates the differences in people and does not have bias because they don't know anything about Black people or the Latinx culture or the Filipino culture or the Puerto Rican culture or the Indian culture. So these institutions are so important because they're going to give an opportunity for people to witness the beauty of everyone and not just one specific race.
Well said. Um, I would be remiss if I didn't mention a couple of weeks ago, my oldest daughter and I saw you at Cinesol at the Sacramento International Film Festival. Shout out to Martin Anaya and Vince D. Miles, who does that every year. It's an amazing, amazing festival. And we got a chance to screen Bottled Spirits, your one woman tour de force. There was so much energy in that room when that after that film went down that everybody just had to take a moment once we screened it. So tell me about that short film, how it came about. And you mentioned a unique aspect in that you wanted to make sure you filmed it in sequence, meaning you didn't shoot things out of order, and that you thought from artistically that was important to you. So tell me about Bottle Spirits and how you came to be a part of that project.
Yes, Bottle Spirits is a project that was developed by a production company that highlights Black films and Black words. And it was co-produced by Reginald Edmond and the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. It came together because that particular production company was interested in doing films in a specific location that highlights what is happening in that particular town. And so they were interested in Oakland and the Black Panther movement, and also everything that's going on in Oakland around gentrification. And they sought out Cat Brooks. And Cat Brooks is an amazing activist, actor, and playwright here in Oakland, who has organization called the Anti-Terrorist Police Project. She's very involved in the grassroots of creating a safe space for our youth here in Oakland. And and she also fights against police terror. And so she wrote this piece and she thought, who could do this piece? A one woman piece that talks about a woman who at the current time is living on the streets because of an incident that happened with her child, where her child experienced police violence. And so Kat contacted me and said, hey, I got this piece for you. It's just you. It's about 18 pages. And I would love for you to be with me on this journey. And I said, yes, of course. I love Kat's work. I've worked with Kat in other projects. And I thought, wow, what an opportunity for me. I don't get to do a lot of film because I'm so busy in the theater. And I thought, yeah, this is one that I would say yes to because of the content. And Elizabeth Carter, who's also a local actress and director, came on as the director of the film. It was her very first time directing a film. And it was Kat's very first time writing a film. And so once again, you had this powerhouse of three Black women who came together and made this happen. And I couldn't be more proud of this piece. The process of it was really important to me. As a theater actor, I wanted to go in knowing all my lines straight through. And that's 18 pages. And I really wanted to shoot the film, and I think we all did because we're all theater artists, to try to drive through the film straight through so that the emotion that is built throughout the movie is in an authentic place in the moment that it is happening to my character, Louise. Um, And so we try to just continue. Now, you do have to say, do this again, do it from this angle, do it from that angle. But the process itself was to allow me to maintain that real authentic emotion, even in those stopping times where I was able to keep just saying, okay, great, let's keep going, let's keep going. Okay, I would do it from here, we'd do it from there. And in my mind, I never dropped character.
Mm.
I wanted to make sure that Louise was present throughout. And now we shot this in 3 days. And so there's a section of the listen to me, of the film where I am playing the mother of the young girl before she became the woman on the street. And so, like, we shot that separately because that's a different entity. But even for that, we drove through that. It's like, let's just do this. And then the editing allows Elizabeth, who did an amazing job to take all of that footage and set it in a way, and the voiceover and the real speaking that's happening in the film, and put all that together. But for me, it was important to try to do it like a play.
Well, well done to all involved because, as I said, after the screening, people were just blown away. It was so powerful, and your performance was, I mean, amazing. And people say, but literally, your performance, you embodied this character, and you could feel all of the emotion she was going through. And then, without revealing everything, um, most importantly, you showed the why. You showed the why of why this person was in this situation because more often than not, we don't go that deep. We see something in the streets or whatever, and and I think you even referenced that during the Q&A
Yeah.
about what you wanted people to take away from that in terms of seeing people and understanding and having some empathy.
Yes, very important. We're battling a huge issue of unhoused people who are struggling in many ways. And it's easy to judge. It's easy to be annoyed. It's easy to just turn the other way. And watching Louise in her struggle, it may make you take a second look, and offer, even if it's just your heart, to those folks, and understand that they're humans, they're human beings, and they're struggling, and maybe support institutions that are trying to help the unhoused.
Uh,
Empathy is so important in our world. It's what makes us good people, and there's a lack of it. And so any project I can do that kind of offers someone to find the empathy within themselves, I'm all for it.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I know you are super busy getting ready for this piece, and I want to thank you for taking the time. But if people want more information about you or about Lorraine Hansberry Theatre or about this new piece that's coming online on September 19th, where can they go and where can they get tickets?
Yes. You can go to our website, which is lhtsf.org. So that's SF like San Francisco. You can go to our website and get tickets. If you want to know more about me, I have Instagram and all those things. So my IG is Margogot. Also, you can find me on Facebook at Margo Hall. And I have a website, margohall.com. And the show runs Thursdays through Sundays, and we have Thursday, Friday at 8, Saturday at 4 and 8, and Sunday at 4. And I also want to let you know that we're going to have pre-talks before the show where we're going to highlight panelists who will speak about Black women in academia. We will also have Black female doctors talking about Black women in health. On our Saturdays, we're offering free massages, and we will have vendors as well, selling products that will keep you calm and also sound healing. So we're taking this experience outside of the theater as well, and talking about the wellness of Black women and how we can again, take care of each other in a way that's not just the play, but an all around way of loving each other and feasting on all that we have to offer.
Well, Margo, again, I want to thank you so much for coming back to the Edric Show. As I said, you have an open invitation whenever you want to come on and talk. Please come on. I love having a conversation with you, and I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you sharing your artistic talents with the world.
Yes, Edric, I want to say that the film, Bottle
Yes.
Spirits,
Oh, yeah,
is
sure.
going to be in the um, Oakland International Film Festival coming up in September. So if you want to catch it, you may want to go to that website as well.
Shout out to David Roach.
Yes.
Yes, that's my man over there in Oakland. So,
Okay.
all right, we'll put some information down in the crawl as well so people can get
Great.
more information about that.
Thank
So,
you.
Margo Hall, artistic director of the Lorraine Hansberry Theatre. She is directing the San Francisco premiere of The Black Feminist Guide to the Human Body, written by acclaimed playwright Lisa B. Thompson at the Fort Mason Center for Arts and Culture in San Francisco. And as she mentioned, starting on September 19th and running through October 6th. Margo, thanks again for coming on the Edric Show.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. This has been another edition of the Edric Show. As promised, intelligent conversation with interesting people. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. You'll get notified when I post content each and every week. I want to thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you on the next episode.